Are we on? Okay. I was saying that you have to all keep quiet once we get about 30 more seconds if you want to keep going. West St. Cloud Congregation extended a warm welcome to each and every one of you to this funeral talk of Brother Robert Lewis Allaire. Robert Lewis Allaire lives here in St. Cloud. He passed away January 22nd at his home. This is after a long, painful, somewhat illness, and he died at the age of 64. Bob was survived by his loving Sharon Allaire. Bob is also survived by his sister Diana Allaire, Julie Goodwin, and her husband Phil Goodwin. He has a nephew, Michael, a brother, Ted. Is that Ted up here? Is Ted? Okay, Ted. Ted Allaire and his wife, Maria Allaire. There's a nephew, T.J. Allaire, and a niece, Beth Allaire. Bob was born on March 10th, 1959 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to Francis and Geraldine Allaire. His family from Oklahoma, when he was 7 years old, moved to Miami when he was 7 years old. As a truth seeker, he was a fervent reader. And he read the whole Bible before he came to the truth. Did I say fervent reader? Avid reader of the entire World Book of Encyclopedia he read. I get tired just saying it. He was seeking the truth about God. And after a long search, he was contacted from door by a brother named John Lake, the father of the Keys. And on January 31st, 1988, that's when he was introduced to the truth. This was a life-changing moment for Bob. He was a truth seeker. He looked into things and he thought things out. And he wanted to extract from what he was learning the truth. He found the truth to be very exciting in some aspects. He was baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses on October 13th, 1990. He thought, and he did, and he knew he found the right direction. This was the truth. This was the truth. Bob enjoyed many privileges of service as a minister. He had the privilege of being a full-time minister for some 22 years, and being the congregation's account servant for many years. And he always, in his talks, showed that he was a spiritual man. Bob was a lover of chocolate. A sailor at heart, he always had in his mind and thinking, somehow sailing the boat came to conversation. He loved it. And he was a conversationalist, a witty humor, a motorhead, a builder, tech savvy, enjoyed mathematics. He was a pilot and he loved helping people with his talents. Did I say he was a pilot? His brother here in Tennessee, they were in Miami celebrating with their father. And he flew from Miami to the Keys. I could just see him. Could you? Can you? Yes, he touched the hearts of the old and the young. And I said the old and the young. When COVID hit, it was struck Jehovah's organization, as did many organizations, but we adjusted. We adjusted to that. Because we aren't going to let Satan slow down the preaching. We'll get through this. And we did. with the help of a lot of people like Bob. My wife always say that. You see, when COVID hit, there was a time when iPads and iPhones and computers were going to come into play and come and join the meeting on Zoom. And Bob, see, we have some elderly sisters here, and introducing them to the iPad, Zoom. You know, some of them thought that mouse was a trap to leave at night. They had no idea. And we would take out this time and go out to these individuals and go to the home. And if they didn't get it right the first time, he went back there. And sometimes after a while, he was walking over the lip and said, Bob, you okay? You don't have to do this. He said, no, I'm okay. I'm good. Why? He wanted me to ask me why. He's walking with a limp. I said, why? Why? Because look. Are you in pain? No. I'm all right. He wasn't paying. In fact, it was an ulcer that could not be resolved. He got that about 20 years ago. It was small at first. As he got older, he grew and grew and grew. And there it was, flesh distraught and waiting, and happy going on, helping people. Bob was an unusual man, a delightful man, and one you could love easily. That's how he helped the old, but he certainly was not in the hearts of the young people too as well. We're going to interview these Ben and Julia Figueroa, and they usually do one interview, but they're twins, and they both have something to say. First, we'll hear from Julius. Okay, Julius.
So when I was thinking about Bob, right? Of course, he has many qualities, right? But to me, one of his biggest qualities I loved Bob was that he was a lot of fun. Even when I was a little kid, we would go to places with him. I remember going to Moss Park with him. I remember playing Go with him. That's a board game. I remember playing putt golf with him. We go. So just those memories remind me. Just Bob was a very fun, quirky. He was a great guy, you know. But more than that, he was also very spiritual. I remember me and my brother had many memories of going out preaching door to door to him. In between spending time with him and his funny jokes and his and the fact that just the fun we had with him was just great. I think the funniest joke he said that I loved was that Bob liked to eat, right? And so he had this joke that he would go to buffets until he got kicked out. To be true, I'm not sure if it's joking or not. But you know, you see the kind of man he was, so he was very lovable. But the last thing he told me, one of the last things he told me was that me and my brother, we recently gave our first public talk together. And he said something that was just so sweet, so kind. He said in that moment that was the closest thing he had felt to ever having a son. And that was perfect, because I was reminded of scripture, 1 John 3, chapter 4, where it said, no greater joy is it to see your children walking in the truth. And so it came full circle, because he brought so much joy in my life, right? So I was finally to repay that to him. So I love him so much. I love sharing so much too. And I can't wait to catch up with him again.
Good.
Well, Bob was a very loving, quirky brother that had a special place in my heart. Just like Julia said, he took an interest in me at a very young age. I can honestly say that he was one of my very first friends I ever had that was out of my age group. And I learned so much from him. I remember going on the food mission with him, and we had up to like 30 or 40 minute conversations of ways we can improve. He taught me to be observant, and some of the things he said to me, I still remember down to this day. And I also remember that down to the very end, his endurance, the example of his wife as well, has always really touched my heart. And I can't wait to say that to him in the future. I can say as a young man, something that's really grounded me is the friendships that I've made. And like these beautiful, powerful friendships really show that we have the truth, right? Because we love each other so much. And Bob was that to me, and he was to so much other people here.
We thank you for this. What can you do without? Bob had established a good name. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1, we have a moment you can turn to. If not, we've got the scriptures on the screen to read. It says, a name is better than good oil on the day of death, than the day of one's being born. You see, when you're born, you're given a name, Ted, Marie, Sharon, Maria. You're given names. And no one knows, it's just what maybe your mother calls you by to get you in line. You're born. But after you grow in your life, you get in activities, and as we mentioned with Bob, he had a good name. He had a good name with Jehovah. His responsibilities as a minister and how he was being helped within the congregation showed that he was a spiritual man. He had a good name with Jehovah. But there's grief now involved. He's gone. And they said something about grief that you shouldn't grieve because it kind of like relays you, and it's good. Even our Lord and Master, he grieved. And here in the book of John, we're going to go to the book of John, and John chapter 11. And we're going to read here how Jesus showed some sort of grief, and the reason why. First in John chapter 11, verse 23. You see, his good friend and family member, he was the relative, times he felt bad that he wasn't there for him, and he traveled to go see his sisters, Mary and Martha. And he gives some words of comfort in verse 23. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise. Your brother will rise. Imagine how she must have felt knowing that here's Jesus saying that he would rise. If you turn your attention to verse 33, Jesus therefore said, he saw her weeping, and the Jews that came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit and became troubled. And he said, where have you raised him? See, he groaned in the spirit in that when he saw in the crowds so sad and weeping, he gave into it. He knew he was going to resurrect. But he groaned. And we do that too sometimes when we see death comes near us with a loved one, a family member. We grieve. Why? Because of the fact that we can't accept that. We can't accept it. Our inward bodies are part of everything that we blow about us. We can't accept it, and so we just let out and grieve, especially if it's a loved one. So it's okay. Let the tears flow. That's what Jesus did. The Bible gives us a hope for the dead. We get this feeling of grief and a sense of the loss of one we had. But the Bible gives us hope for the dead and that we have a promise from Jehovah. You see, I always consider the Bible as a letter from your Father. And he's writing to you. And as you read it, you will sense that it's you. Despite what you might be going through, the loss that you have. Notice a promise that he gives. It's found in the book of Revelation in chapter 20, chapter 21, in verse 4. Here's a promise from this letter that we got. And he, this is Jehovah, will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. No mourning, no outcry, no pain, Yea, more, the former things have passed away. What a promise. And you know what's remarkable about this? Is what we find in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 55. And here, Jehovah striking and talking gives something to us that adds to that promise. What is it that he adds? Give me a second. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 10 says, "For just as the snow, just as the pouring rains descend and the snow from the heavens, and it doesn't return to that place unless it actually saturates the earth, makes it produce and sprout, and the seed makes it. Well, and the seed is actually given to the soul. And then, in turn, you get bread given to the eater. This is an illustration of the importance of the scripture. Jehovah now gives his word. So my word goes forth from my mouth, will prove to be. It will not return to me without results, but it will certainly do what I have certain, and will have certain success, and that for which I have sent it. He gives his word. Imagine the most powerful force in the whole universe makes a promise and then gives his word. And with that, if you will, he gives a guarantee. If that wasn't enough, his promise, his word, and the guarantee is what was lost in the Garden of Eden could be restored by a ransom paid. Jesus acknowledged this to the early Christians at the time in Matthew chapter 20. And we'll go there, Matthew chapter 20. Verse 28. Jesus speaking, just as the Son of Man came not to be ministered to, but to minister and to give his soul a ransom in exchange for many. Jehovah sent him for that purpose. We have a promise, Jehovah's word, and a guarantee. A guarantee of what? Of resurrection. A resurrection. Jesus himself would be headmaster, if you will, of the resurrection. You notice that there are 8 different resurrections that are mentioned in the Bible. We won't start with the prophet Elisha. And if you really want to understand